fellas, it's working for the Cowboys as they extend their home win streak to 13 games, best in the NFL. Dak Prescott threw 4 TDs as the Cowboys crushed the Commanders 45-10 and put up 25 points in the fourth quarter. Jerry Jones feeling pretty good about his team's Super Bowl chances. Take a listen to this.
There's 4 or 5 others at least that can win one, that can win it too, that are sitting there that some of them we got to play and some of them will go by to get one. But this team's certainly capable of winning the whole thing.
All right, Stephen A., guys, the Cowboys. Listen, I wish I was a Cowboys fan so I could root for Dak as my quarterback, honestly. Stephen A., they're just out here destroying folks, putting on a show. How impressed are you? How was your Thanksgiving?
First of all, my Thanksgiving was absolutely wonderful. You know what I'm saying? I was spending time with the family. I'm good. I had an absolutely marvelous time, ate well, but now it's time to get back on my grind in that gym and exercise. You know what I'm saying? I might even come down to Louisiana and let RC train me a little.
Go and get some.
Just to show. I'm coming down to win the bet, so I might have to come down there and go through a training session with RC. But here's the deal. Staying on track here. Can we please stop wasting America's time with this ridiculous subject of the Cowboys? 5 of their victories have come against teams in last place. The average winning percentage of the teams they beat is over 29%, 29.7% to be exact. The Dallas Cowboys now have the #1 scoring offense in the NFL at 31.5 points per game, okay? And last
Wait a second. I just saw a real cute baby.
I saw a real cute baby myself. I want to distract her. Who's that, RC? Who's that, RC?
This is Junie. This is my little niece.
Oh,
we're up the day after Thanksgiving, man.
All right.
How cute.
I
love her onesie.
Just show her Stephen A. so she can smile. You know why, RC, right? Because Stevie A. love the kids. He sure does.
Love the kids.
He sure does. No question about it. Look at her beautiful self. Go ahead.
Cowboys played her.
Go ahead. Now, I want you to get her off the screen because I don't need her to hear what I'm going to say about the Cowboys. Her ears don't need to hear that, okay? So let's hide her from this right now. We don't want her in earshot of this. The Dallas Cowboys, right now, this season, they have won in 5 home games that I talked about by a combined score of 205-60. You know, it's like if you are 6 feet tall, and and there's a whole bunch of small folks around you. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to look like a giant. You understand what I'm saying? What the hell are we talking about here? Can we stop? It's the day after Thanksgiving. I'm looking at their 5 games coming up, and we'll see what they're made of because I'm looking at it right now, okay? And let's pay attention. They got a home game against Seattle. They got a home game against the Philadelphia Eagles. They're on the road back-to-back weeks against Buffalo and Miami. And then they got a home game against Detroit. Now, 5 games from now, we're having this same conversation. I throw my hands up. I acknowledge what I acknowledge, and I'm giving them their respect, and it's cool. But right now, all you're doing is stomping on people who are insignificant. And just as an aside before y'all move on, we're not going to talk about the Washington Commanders because they're a waste of our time, okay? We know that Magic Johnson and Josh Harris is going to make changes. The only shot, in my estimation, after what I've seen from Washington the last few weeks, of Eric Bieniemy getting a job, a head coaching job, is for Ron Rivera to be fired today. And Eric Bieniemy be handed the reins for the last 5 games or so for the regular season to see what he can do, and then you make a decision in the offseason about where you're going. To me, that is the only shot that Eric Bieniemy has of being the head coach.
True.
Outside of that, nothing. That's all I want to say. Dallas Cowboys, I don't want to hear this stuff about impressive. You're playing against nobodies. 5 last-place teams. That's it.
Dallas is the hottest team in the NFL. Dak's the hottest quarterback in the NFL. But we don't know anything different about them than we did in September. I'll say this. They're the 3rd best team in the NFC, behind San Francisco and Philly. But, Stephen A., to your point, I kind of said this morning. If we were looking at Dallas through the prism of the college football playoff, we would be having this conversation or argument of resume versus eye test. Their resume stinks. It does. They have, to Stephen A.'s point, they played nobody. There's 3 teams in the NFL, 3 in the NFL that have not beaten a team with a 500 record or better. The Giants, the Bears, and the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, San Francisco and Philly have 4 wins each. We could sit here and say, man, they're playing good football and they are that 3rd best team in the NFC, And I think the difference for me when it comes to, like how impressed I am with Dak Prescott in comparison to everybody else is his legs and his eyes are definitely different this year. Ever since, the injury, we haven't seen Dak leave the pocket. Examples are here. Leave the pocket and try to remain a passer. And his ability to continue to do that this year is different. Leave the pocket there. Now, this is a really good clip. He suddenly leaves the right side of the pocket. He doesn't try to run here. He's just trying to get away from bad stuff. Gets a little bit of a lucky bounce there. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get unlucky. These next two are the best of the game. He's going to leave the front side of the left side of that pocket. High stay downfield. That's a 23-yard gain. They don't create explosive plays like this in the NFL unless you're using play-action pass or one-on-one go routes. 3rd and 11, move the pocket. The game's still a game here. They're up by 10 with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, and he finds another 20-plus yard gain. So that's the biggest thing for me with Dak is how much he's used his eyes to create big plays. But this team has beaten nobody. The last 3 weeks, their 3 wins against the 28th ranked defense, the 31st ranked defense, and the 32nd ranked defense.
Super Bowl contenders were like a spades game, 3 and impossible, right? You knew it was Philadelphia, you knew it was San Francisco, you put Dallas in that conversation and possibly Detroit based on what Jared Goff can do and what the defense can do. It seems that Detroit is moving in the wrong direction, even though they found a way to come back and beat the Chicago Bears last week. And so now looking at this team, who do you believe in more? You believe in Jalen Hurts in the big moments. You believe in the Philadelphia Eagles in big-time games against good football teams. The San Francisco 49ers, when whole, have never lost a game. With Brock Purdy, with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, if they're whole, they do not lose. And that's not hyperbole. That's the actual resume. That's the truth. When all of those dudes are together, they leave the field with wins. Now, when we look at the Dallas Cowboys, and I just think the way that Dan put this, the way that Dan set it up is such a relevant way to look at it. You look at these teams, which team has the worst win of the top teams? The worst loss of the top teams in the NFC. You're going to go to the Dallas Cowboys with the Arizona Cardinals, or you say maybe the New York Jets with the way they played against the Philadelphia Eagles, but the Dallas Cowboys in that. Now, when you go to the team with the best wins, the Dallas Cowboys aren't even in the conversation. But the eye test, when they're playing the Vanderbilts, when they're playing the Rutgers, when they're playing all of these teams that aren't very good in the Power 5, they blow those teams out. They beat those teams like top 10 teams are supposed to. What you can take from this is Dak Prescott is playing the best football we've ever seen him play in his career. Dak Prescott is throwing the football more confidently than I've ever seen him. Some of those footballs he threw down the seam yesterday, those are Patrick Mahomes type throws. Those are Josh Allen type throws. Those are Joe Burrow type throws. We're seeing him play football at that sort of elite level right now. So what happens when it's time to execute against the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers down the stretch? Because let's be real, it isn't that those two teams have been so much better than the Dallas Cowboys that they couldn't compete. You go to the wild card game 2 years ago in the playoffs. They had an opportunity to win that game. You don't execute with 14 seconds left. You go to the divisional round last year. You have an opportunity to win that game. You don't execute in situational football moments. So we know that the Dallas Cowboys will be in the game. Can Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott put it together when it matters most?
Okay, now see, this is where y'all lose me. Because see, I'm talking to football. Stay with me. First of all, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm simply annoyed by it because there's a lot that you leave out in making your point. I know that I'm talking to two football aficionados here, so I expect to be taught properly. This is the student having a problem with the damn teacher right now.
What do you got?
We got a Dak Prescott that has thrown for 300-plus yards in 4 of the last 5 games.
Yes, sir.
Well, let me give you those last 5 games. We got the Rams, the Eagles, the Giants, the Panthers, and the Commanders.
Yeah.
We can't ignore that. I'm looking at yesterday, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was pressured on a season low 12% of his dropbacks yesterday.
Yeah.
12%. They didn't sack him once, and in that entire 60 minutes of action, they got 2 quarterback hits. 2.
Yeah.
2. I mean, look, man, the brother
I'm agreeing with you, Stephen A.
I understand that. What I'm saying is the brother is sitting back, taking pictures, ordering Uber Eats, calling us, honey, yo, I'll be home later. Where you want to go out for dinner? Why he's standing in the pocket looking at receivers? Because he's got all day to do it. I'm just saying, we just gonna point to the numbers, and we're not gonna highlight that this brother is sitting back there taking pictures and chilling and calling Jerry Jones, ordering hot dogs and stuff before he throw a damn pass.
You know what the record is?
That does have something to do with this.
That's
what I'm saying.
The 28th, 31st, and 32nd ranked defense in the last week, they're not going to see that in the playoffs. I'm with you.
Okay.
This is what I like. This is the way I look at it. This is the way I look at it. I know Philadelphia is really good. I know that.
Okay.
I know San Francisco's really good.
Right.
I think Dallas is. I don't have any evidence that Dallas is really good.
I think Dallas is good.
Right, but I know Philly and San Francisco are because of the way.
But I know Dallas is good.
Right.
I just don't know if they're great.
That's where I don't know. We have no evidence to say that they are. They have 8 wins. Those combined 8 wins, I think the total is like 22 wins. Okay. So their team opponents.
So who do
have
you need to see them beat? They've got Seattle. They've got the Eagles, Bills, Dolphins.
How about just win 3
Lions,
and 2?
and then Commanders. How do you need them to finish out?
I think that the division will probably come down to that Philly game in Dallas.
Yep.
I have said this. I do not believe that Dallas Cowboys team can beat Philly or San Francisco when it matters the most. Because both of those teams take out the most important person on that team. That's Micah Parsons.
Okay.
They take him out.
Yes, that's the hard part.
That's the difference between those two teams schematically and Dallas.
And I'm just saying, RC, before I come back to you, it's like the pressure matters because we've seen what happens when you've applied pressure to Dak from time to time. Not all the time, but some of those times. I expect the Eagles to be able to apply some pressure. I expect the San Francisco 49ers to be able to apply some pressure. Detroit has disappointed me, but I expect to see one. Go ahead, RC. Go ahead, RC.
When we look at Dak Prescott, though, especially since that San Francisco game, some of that pressure has been alleviated by his willingness to move outside of the pocket, by his willingness to create with his legs. And so I'm not necessarily concerned with the pressure as so much I am with the execution. And we also have to give the Philadelphia Eagles and San Francisco 49ers credit for the way they take out some of the things the Dallas Cowboys do best by scheme, or the way that they can alleviate that with their roster as well. And the last thing is this, Stephen A. If Dak Prescott has enough time to order Uber Eats from the pocket, he don't have to ask his girl where they going to eat because he bringing the food home.
I was giving options.
So it don't
I was giving options. I wasn't saying both.
Wow,
I was saying one or the other.
Look at
He's absolutely right. No. That's something. That's something I would do. I'm very proud of my brother. I'm very proud of my brother. That's something I would do. That's right. But I was talking either or. That's what I was saying, not both.
Speaking of paying attention to detail.
Yes. What about it? It's Friday. It's Thanksgiving. Did you see my outfit yesterday? It's pretty fly.